Ever wondered why your car can't run indefinitely on a single tank of fuel, or why you can't just keep cycling without breaking a sweat? The answer lies in a fundamental principle of physics, the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy is a fundamental concept in physics. It states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. This law is the cornerstone of many scientific phenomena and is paramount to our understanding of the universe. Let's break this down further. Essentially, the law of conservation of energy can be divided into two main principles: the first law of thermodynamics and the principle of energy conservation. The first law of thermodynamics holds that the total amount of energy in a closed system remains constant. It's like a bank account for energy. You can deposit and withdraw, but the overall balance remains the same. If you heat a cup of water, the energy from the heat source is transferred to the water, raising its temperature. However, the total amount of energy, the sum of the heat energy and the water's energy, remains the same. The principle of energy conservation, on the other hand, states that energy can change from one form to another. A classic example is a swinging pendulum. At its highest point, the pendulum has maximum potential energy and minimum kinetic energy. As it begins to swing down, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. At its lowest point, the pendulum has maximum kinetic energy and minimum potential energy. This process continues back and forth, with energy continuously changing forms, but the total amount of energy remains constant. So what have we learned today? The law of conservation of energy tells us that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. This principle is evident in everything from the steam rising off your morning coffee to the light emitted by distant stars. It's the reason why your car needs refueling and why you can't cycle forever without tiring. Remember the first law of thermodynamics, which maintains that the total amount of energy in a closed system remains constant. Think of it as a bank account for energy, and don't forget the principle of energy conservation, which allows energy to morph from one form to another, like a chameleon changing its colors. In a nutshell, the law of conservation of energy is a fundamental principle that governs the universe. It's the unseen force that keeps the world and everything in it ticking along. It's the unsung hero of physics, quietly ensuring that everything in the universe remains balanced and in check. So the next time you're sipping your warm coffee or gazing at the night sky, take a moment to appreciate the law of conservation of energy. It's the silent, unseen force that makes our world what it is. And that, dear listeners, is truly something to marvel at.